just out of curiosity, let's also go ahead and look at this kind of screen her hips so you guys follow my tip as far as how to look for this stuff too. So what I'm going to do is when we get Grace on her hands and knees, please. And we're going to first try to get her into a good neutral lumbar position here. So you can drop that for me just a little bit. Great. Now maintaining this, we're going to check her hips. So in a good squat, we need a lot of hip flexion in order to get that center of mass kind of between the feet and really drop down into that deep squat position. So put your knees and your feet together for me. So kind of get that really narrow stance. Good. And if we go ahead and keep this flat, drive your butt backwards without rounding to the right stop. So right there is where she starts to round. Doesn't quite look like enough range of motion for like a good squat, right? Okay, great. Come back out of it. Let's get your knees and feet equally apart. So maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit further. Good. Drop that into a little bit of a neutral position. Great. Rock back for me again. And stop. So she can go further now. That actually looks pretty good. Can you feel that movement at all? Okay. Come back out of it. Now put your feet together. Keep your knees apart. Drop that into a little bit neutral and drop that for me now. Bam. Right there is where she starts moving. Now we're talking. Look at this hip range of motion. So what do? We brought her out. So we got her feet and knees, shoulder width apart or so. We also put her feet together, which drives those femurs into a little bit of external rotation. If this sounds familiar, that whole knees out cue is part of this. So what we're trying to do is establish for her what is like a good position as far as width and also how much external rotation to add into the legs in order to make sure that we can clear her into to get more depth. For those at home that are playing with it, everybody's hips are different. Mine, I get stuck and I get pinches here. That's my limiting factor. What I want you to do is, can you get in these different stances, change your foot position, change your width, and wherever you find that frees you up, that's kind of where I want you to end up squatting. So you guys can explore your own ranges at home and see what, again, where those feet need to be, where those knees need to be, how much rotation you need. But again, if your butt moves, if your low back rounds, that's a problem. We don't want that. We're not interested in that. Okay, play with that at home. Got a little bit of hip restriction in there that I think we can improve upon. So let's see if we can open that up. So if your hips are your primary limitation, again, if you put your feet up on that board, it doesn't change your squat depth very much. That's definitely going to be a hip thing. So let's see. She did pretty well, but this is more for you guys. She probably got benefit from it too. Okay, first thing, take up the cross ball. I want you to do that figure four and I want that ball right in your hip. Yes, opening up that hip. Targeting all those little hip external rotators. If you want to sound really smart, you can start naming them all. I don't really care. Just that whole thing, that whole like lateral butt area, it's perfect. How's that feel?
That's great.
Okay, you're lying. That's okay. I want it to be a little tender. That's totally fine. Okay, you can start moving that knee in and out if you want a little bit, just to see about. Yeah. And I want faces like that. Great. So now if we decrease all that tension on the superficial, like on that superficial tissue, like the muscles and all that other stuff, now we can get down and be more effective at addressing the joint as well, if there's a joint limitation. Most of us have both. So, great. Hop on over that band for me. So slide that all the way into that hip crease. And come on out so you got some good tension on that band. And drop down to that pigeon. Good. Not even come out further. Get a lot of tension on it. Great. So what we're doing here is we're going to use this band to kind of pull that hip, that femur, that femoral head deeper into her hip socket and hopefully get more of a stretch on that lateral aspect, all that stuff we just do the cross ball in. So we can do this a couple different ways. So Grace kind of is going towards that knee out position. If we want to hit it even harder, keep your knee right there. I want you to swing your whole torso this way. So I kind of want your, yes, I kind of want this over your midline. So you're like there. How's that feel? Stretchy? Big time? Back here? There you go. There it is. All right, good. Good. So a lot of times this will just allow us to take that whole thing and shove it back. In order for us to have a nice deep squat, we definitely got to get that femoral head back in the socket. So this is a quick, easy thing to do. Most gyms are going to have a band and a rig that you can tie things to. Again, hunt around and find some of those little positions that are going to be more either stretchy or more specific to you. My hips are different than Grace's hips. That's fine. Yours are different than mine and yours. So that's fine. Just find it for you. These do tend to work for most people. Great.